Hello, thank you for being here. I'm Hana Rivera, and today we're going to talk about your highest self. Do you ever find yourself feeling that there's a greater version of you quietly waiting, maybe just below the surface? This is a version of you that is deeply aligned, boldly honest, spiritually grounded, emotionally free. It's a version of you that does not just survive life, but lives it with intention, with integrity, and what feels like purpose for you. What if unlocking that version of yourself isn't a really far away dream? What if it's actually a deeply practical and accessible journey that can begin right now, if you want, within you? In this video, I'm going to walk you through how to get there, how to reach those beyond surface level goals that you know you have within you, how to find yourself moving beyond productivity and self-improvement trends, and how to walk straight into the heart of your authentic becoming and unfolding. Because truly, living as your highest self is not about achieving more. It's really about simply becoming and allowing yourself to be more you. Defining your highest self, moving beyond what you've known or what you've been told. When people talk about their highest self, we often picture things like success, confidence, spiritual wisdom, maybe some kind of like super polished final destination, a type of life somewhere we've reached. The truth is that your highest self is not a place that you arrive at. It's not a collection of achievements that you make. What it actually is you giving yourself permission to unfold naturally into your true alignment. Again, it's not about all the goals you can check off your list. It's about how deeply you live in your truth in every moment of your life. So here are a few questions you can ask yourself. You can use these to help you reflect. You can just like ask them within, or you can even journal them to help you get more insight into what your highest self feels like. You can ask, what does my highest self look like to me right now at this time in my life, in this season of my life, related to this version of me that I am now? Ask what qualities, what emotions, what values, what behavioral patterns, what thought patterns, what beliefs feel like home to my highest self. Who am I? Who am I? Seriously, who am I when I'm not performing, when I'm not trying to please others, and when I'm not trying to prove something about myself, not trying to prove my worth? Who am I? Here's what to pay attention for. Your highest self will most likely feel anchored, right? So anchored in your body rather than feeling panicked. Your highest self will feel more aligned. So not like you're kind of torn between who you actually are and how you show up in the world. Your highest self will feel very clear within, even in times of uncertainty. So no matter what the circumstances are around you, you will feel clear about who you are. And your highest self will feel whole, even when things are not perfect, because your highest self knows that you are always whole. You always have been, and you always will be. Here's something that might be freeing for you to consider. Your highest self is not like some kind of final version of you. Again, so it's not about like a start and finish line type of journey. Your highest self is a dynamic, ever evolving identity that grows with you as you move through your unique life journey. Because remember, you're not like becoming someone else. Your highest self is not something that you have to become. It's just you returning, spiraling back home to yourself every single day. That's your highest self. Shedding limiting beliefs and clearing whatever may be blocking your expansion. Before you can feel like you're really meeting your highest self, what must come first is the willingness to meet your old self, or all the different versions of your old self, all of the versions of yourself who were shaped by fear, who were shaped by survival. Maybe they were shaped by comparison. Those versions of yourself that were made up of the collection of all the different past conditionings that you picked up along your way. The old self, or these older versions of yourself, are the voices in your head that say things like, I don't think I'm ready, I'm not enough, I know that even if I try, I'll probably fail. I don't know, what if I'm just too much for this person or for this situation? Or even worse, what if I'm not enough for this situation? These are not beliefs or voices that you were born with. These are things you learned over time in different circumstances, based on the things that were going on around you, based on the things that were taught to you, based on the things that were modeled to you or that you witnessed by the adults around you when you were a child, for example. All of these things that we go through, childhood experiences, cultural expectations, emotional wounds, and all of these like unspoken messages that we feel from the world around us, these all shape the versions of ourselves that have to adapt to be able to keep living and to get by in this world. Here's the truth though. If we learned our limiting beliefs, then stick with me, we can unlearn them. We've got neuroplasticity to thank for that, because your brain is always, 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 doesn't matter how old you are, your brain is always capable of rewiring itself. And when you choose to do that, when you choose to change from the limiting beliefs and to install new beliefs that feel more supportive, that's when you'll feel aligned with your highest self. So let's talk through a really practical method you can use to reframe your beliefs, to shift into beliefs that are going to be more supportive for you. The first thing you want to do is practice noticing the beliefs that feel limiting. So maybe you have a belief that is just like running rampant in your experience and in your mind, and it's something like, I'm just not capable, I can't do it. So once you notice that belief, you want to name where it came from. Where did this belief originate? I love the question, where did I learn this? The purpose of naming where it came from is not to blame anyone or anything or any circumstance for what we learned, but to better understand, right? So when we want to pull out weeds, we want to pull them out from the root. Once we've named where this was sourced from, we can then replace it with a more empowering belief, a belief that is rooted in truth, the truth that we choose to align with, the truth of our higher self, rather than having beliefs that are rooted in fear. So we might move from something like, I'm not capable, to move toward, I am capable. Or maybe if the total, opposite belief doesn't feel true yet or doesn't feel accessible, you can even move from I'm not capable towards something like, I choose to grow. And I know I can learn things that I don't know yet. I know I can learn new things. So rather than I'm not capable, I choose to grow, and I know I can learn new things. Remember, your highest self definitely does not require perfection. It doesn't even know what this concept of perfection is in the way that we kind of understand it. The only thing that your higher self is kind of like waiting for to help you grow is for you to give yourself permission to show up in a new way and choose to grow. Even if that means kind of falling down, getting up again, falling down, getting up again. Just give yourself permission to move toward where you want to be. Cultivating mindful presence to unlock your true inner power source. Here's something that a lot of people don't realize. Your highest potential doesn't exist in the past and it doesn't exist in the future. It actually exists, you guessed it, in the here and now, this present moment. When you choose to be fully here with what's going on in your now moment and kind of gently guide your mind away from overthinking, away from trying to calculate the outcomes, away from replaying things that happened in the past, that's when you access your deep, deep, deep power source and the most powerful versions of your mind and your nervous system. It's in this present moment that your true creativity can emerge. It's in this present moment that your intuition can speak clearly to you. And it's in this present moment that your authenticity lives and thrives. We all know that today's world is super noisy, very distracting, moves very fast. So accessing your higher self, it can feel challenging. And when we want to access our highest self, we must be willing to create space for presence. Here are just a few simple practices that you can use even when you are super busy and even if you're still walking that path that feels like healing to help you connect with your presence. Throughout your day, do little pockets of 1 minute grounding with yourself. You can place one hand on your heart, you can place the other hand on your belly or somewhere else supportive on your body based on how you're feeling in the moment. Take a few deep breaths. Just remind yourself, here I am in this moment. And ask yourself something like, okay, where am I right now? What is actually going on around me? And where does it feel like my awareness is? Do I feel like I'm more in my head? Do I feel like I'm more in my body? And you can use your breath to kind of help you move your energy. Maybe if it's, accumulated here in your headspace, move it down to your lower half of your body so you can really feel grounded in your present moment. You can also take little digital detox moments throughout the day. So it's not like you have to do a full digital detox every day. That's super challenging in this world, we know. But you can kind of give yourself special, sacred pockets of silence throughout your day. So maybe you try no scrolling in the first, I don't know, say half hour or hour after you wake up, or maybe no scrolling a half hour or an hour or even 2 hours before you go to bed. So give yourself these little moments to better protect your mind when it's most sensitive at the beginning and the end of your day, and really to just give your body space to be with itself and not be engaging with input that's coming from outside. And one more really cool thing you can do is have like little micro awareness check-in moments throughout the day, right? So you're going about your day, maybe your routine feels just like the same thing over and over, Groundhog's Day. Really kind of break that by orienting to your environment and trying to notice at least one small thing. You can even start by doing this once a day, and then maybe you move up to like 3 times a day or 4 times a day. Notice one small thing that you feel like you would normally miss. So maybe you go to the same office for work every day. See if you can notice what the light looks like when it comes in through the window, what patterns it makes on the wall. See if you can really feel the warmth of your teacup when you're drinking it. See if you can hear the sound of your own breath. Even though these things are, we perceive them as really small, what they do is build our connection to our own inner stillness and inner silence. The most foundational truth is that our presence with ourselves is the main doorway to feeling connected with ourselves. And when we feel connected to ourselves, that's how we create the pathway to our highest potential and can feel guided by our highest self. living out our higher self through actionable steps that lead to growth. When you start feeling more aligned, more grounded, and clearer within yourself, you know it's time to take action. We're not talking about action that is fueled by force, by pressure, and definitely not by performance. We're talking about action that is guided by being in alignment with your highest self. So, just as an experiment, rather than thinking about smart goals, maybe you think about soul aligned goals, or spirit aligned goals, or highest self aligned goals. You can ask yourself questions like, does this choice or behavior reflect my true values? If I do this, will this expand who I am? Or will it lead to me feeling more disconnected from myself? Is this choice or this thought or this behavior driven by fear? Or is it driven by something like purpose or compassion or love? What you want to do is focus on building a supportive ecosystem. Remember, your higher self doesn't isolate itself, it just chooses really wisely. So once you start aligning with your higher self, you'll notice that you surround yourself with people who challenge you in loving ways and who want to hold you accountable and who always reflect your strength, not your fear, back to you. You'll find that you'll come to learn discomfort. Every time you choose to step out of your comfort zone, what you do is you lovingly stretch your nervous system to be able to hold more courage, more self-trust, and more authentic expression that is in alignment with your highest self. Remember, growth feels uncomfortable because it's just something new, right? It's not familiar to us. It's something we're trying for the first time, not because something's wrong, we can't do it, or we should turn back. How to sustain your journey and become without any rushing. Remember, transformation, change, healing is never linear. All of these things take place in spirals. You will find yourself revisiting old patterns. And when you do come face to face with a pattern that you feel like, I've already done this, it's not that you failed. Guess what? It's that you're actually ready to meet this pattern with expanded awareness and with a greater depth of like so much self-love and self-trust that you'll be able to go more, you'll be able to go deeper into the pattern so that you can, again, take it out at its root or transform it from the root. Your highest self is not the version of you that never struggles. Okay. Struggle is part of human experience. Your highest self is the version of you that knows even when I'm struggling, I am able to return to myself, get back into my alignment, feel safe and grounded in my being time and time again. You can focus on sustaining your journey and remaining anchored by really making sure you celebrate your small wins and not just like concrete outcomes. We're talking any emotional shifts you feel. You can also check in with yourself weekly and ask something like, how am I doing this week? Am I living more from fear? Am I living more from alignment? And adjust as necessary. And most importantly, perhaps, always practice grace with yourself. Remember, it is a non-linear, spiral, cyclical type of journey. So allow yourself to evolve without any rushing and without any perfectionistic expectations. The more you choose to live from your highest self, the more your life will begin to reflect it and the more in alignment you will feel. You don't need to force your highest self into existence or to force it to try and appear suddenly. You don't even need to search for it. It's here. You are it. All you need to do is focus on creating the conditions in your inner garden so that it can bloom fully and thrive. So, here is a little reflection to try right now. What quality of your highest self are you choosing to step into now? Maybe something like courage, authenticity, self trust, love, compassion. I would love for you to comment below. I read every comment and I just love hearing about your experiences. And if you're ready to keep growing, to keep healing, to feel more aligned, please subscribe and follow along with me. This journey doesn't end here or anywhere. It just keeps deepening and deepening and deepening.